Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
And for our Stone Timber video today, we're doing something we've never done before, and that is going back and doing a second Chippy on a game.
A deja vu Chippy.
A deja vu Chippy. But I wasn't in the original Chippy, so
No, you weren't.
these are brand new for me. But your guys' scores are updated after we've played this about probably 15 to 20 more times. Over that, I would say, the original one
That
would
was
have been.
very early
Maybe not,
on,
right
after getting it.
Maybe not quite 20, but
Do
I
either
guess
of you
it's probably
know
15,
what our
20.
scores were for that?
I don't know.
I
So
don't know. I think
we will link it below so you can watch the change.
I should have definitely looked that up before this.
I did not know.
Should have.
We'll
But
put the numbers right below us right here,
There we go.
what our scores are.
Thank
right.
you, Pepper.
But yeah, so we will get right into it. I guess since I have the new one, I'll start with the core mechanism. And I'm going to give this one a 7.5. Because I think the main thing in the game, I've never played Fantasy Realms, but apparently kind of gets a lot of its kind of DNA from that game. I think Jamie said, and it's in the rule book, I believe, where you kind of had cards with base values, and then there's a little thing on the bottom with saying what they interact with to get more points, possibly, or lose points. I really like how that works together, and by the end you're trying to make the best hand. I like the thought of that quite a bit. And then you can interact with these three different, pretty much they're tracks. I mean, they're tracked differently than each other. Like, you're taking helium and you're putting cubes out on the Institute, and you are going up on a fleet track. But really, they could be tracks if you wanted them to be. Mm-hmm. And I would just say sometimes I like those better than other times. It kind of that helps determine the game length. And sometimes it can be a very long game, depending on if no one is really pursuing those, and they're kind of just keeping everything they have equal. But then other times they can trigger really quickly. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting that it can change the pace of the game. But I feel like there could be times where you are like, okay, I've got the perfect hand, and you're trying to get the game to end, but if you're not set up to do it, you could give people 5 or 6 more turns to kind of get into a better position. That brings it down a little bit for me.
Well, I gave the core mechanics a 10 because there's nothing I don't like or enjoy about it. I think it can be, like you said, it can be total chaos, I think, a little bit, which I think is just all in how the cards come out. And I really enjoy that factor of this game. And I really do like the different tracks and how they kind of work with different cards, and that again is dependent on how they come out and what comes out. And so I just think it's really great to have cards in your hand, try and figure out the best way to use them with what's out in front of you, and kind of building towards either trying to get towards that end game. So I think if you forget about the end game, then you probably will get in trouble, but I think as long as you are trying to kind of diversify and not only get cards that help you, but go up on those pieces, I think I really enjoy it. So
Yeah, I give it a 9.
woo!
I just really love all the parts to the game. The cards, they have their special ability for when you play it, which can help you with all those different tracks and gaining points there, but then also trying to build the best hand you can for endgame scoring. It is so satisfying when you can get those cards that work together, and so stressful when it's like, I just need this type of card to come out. But yeah, it's just great. Just the only negatives are sometimes possibly chaos, or just not getting the cards that you need, or just things like that.
Then we go to history, which we've all played this at least 10 times, so they come in at a 10. Probably all played it 2 to 3 times that, but we have at least 10 plays. And And then we get into the first I, which is investment. And we will go to Pepper on that one.
I gave this a 9 here, and I think that's just all the different characters that you can pair together and try to score. I think probably most of the characters can be used very, very powerfully. You just need to try to find the best way to use them. And I just find that exciting every game when I have my hand thinking, what can I do with this hand of cards?
I agree. I gave it a 10 for very similar reasons. I also think they did a great job of like the grays and the oranges being able to count. Like that I think helps it immensely because you're not stuck if you can't get a specific card. You just need to get a card of a certain color, which can also be frustrating, but I feel like the cards interact so well that it is just... It's a tableau of what can I do and how can I do it best kind of a thing. I also find there's a lot of replayability in it because I don't always see the same cards. I mean, recently there's been one card that keeps coming out and won't stay buried, and I don't know why. But, I mean, for quite a long time, I don't think I'd seen or touched every card. I mean, there's not that many in there, but kind of the speed at which you go through them, who lays them down, who picks them up, kind of can affect that. And so... I just find that still to be an intriguing piece, and kind of now I read the book, and so now I'm just kind of seeing characters from the book and thinking, oh, well, I know why that this character wants to be with this character, or I know why this or that, and so I think that has just added kind of to it. I also don't think setup is like terribly crazy. It's pretty easy, you shuffle the cards, you lay them out. Everybody gets their stuff, and you deal a couple cards, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, I'm coming in with an investment of an 8. There is a lot of replayability with the cards. If they ever were to make an expansion, well, I guess that wouldn't really work. I was thinking you could do another track or something, but since you've already got all of those cards that wouldn't interact with something new, you can't really do that. But I think that would just be the part that feels samey from game to game, but the cards themselves do feel very different when you're comboing them from game to game, and it's really cool when you can come up with a new combo of scoring that really works together. So I really do like that a lot too, and then I do like the fact that the games will feel different. Some, like one of our most recent ones, I think you did get 7 cards, but we both had 5. And then there's another game recently that we had where everyone had over like 10 or whatever cards. So it can change wildly, kind of based on how quickly people go up those kind of end game triggering tracks. But yeah, solid. And I don't think it's, even if it's on the longer side, I still don't think it's ever that long a game that overstays its welcome or anything. So yeah, then we get into the first P, preference, or not preference, presentation.
I was like, wait a minute.
Preference is the second P in Chippy. A presentation. I really like the look of all these cards. I like the colors. They're very bright. I like the art on all the cards. It's really, really solid. We got the collector's edition. What?
Jesse's tummy's grumbling.
Oh, we got the collector's edition. And originally the cubes in that were kind of hard to tell apart. The metal was hard to tell apart. And I would say the stands are very easy to knock over. I thought that when I first took them out, I was like, this feels like it could be very easy to knock over. And my fears were correct, because, yeah, if you just barely brush over your cards, they all fall over, sadly. I'm sure we could get some card holders that are a little more sturdy. But, yeah, there's a few components in there that weren't the best in the collectors. We did upgrade to different painted cubes, so now that is really nice. And I think the retail version has plastic cubes that are like those same colors. So those are easy to tell apart, I think. Yeah, I think it's still overall, I really like the look of everything, but there's just just those few things that just I wish were just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Originally in the box, and then it also is one that you need to lay flat.
Yeah.
You cannot lay it that way, just because the insert looks like it should keep it all in there, and it's got a cover and everything, and it just doesn't. It's just kind of sad that it.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 for those reasons as well. It's hard to argue against them. I think that a lot of love went into making this game, and so I think, you know, there are just variables you can't always tell are going to be an issue until it reaches that mass market, and it just happened that there were a couple of unfortunate things that had been designed, and I think Jamie's done a really good job of trying to adjust to those by, you know, getting those other painted things and stuff, but it doesn't really take away from the game for me at all. And so everything, though, like the cards, I think are spectacular. They are so well laid out, and on the sides of the card they've got, you know, like little references of like what you're looking for a quick reminder. They also have, like, because it's a game based on colors kind of situation, some of them might look similar, but he's also got them like spelled out on the top of the card, like this is a yellow card, or this is a gold card, or this is violet. And so that, I think, can be really helpful too, especially if there are like any color blindness or anything in the game. And I think just yeah, the little tokens I love, the spaceships I love. There are a lot of amazing other pieces to the game, just a couple of things that unfortunately didn't go to plan.
Yeah. I have it at a 9.5.
He was willing to move less than I was.
I just love the look of the game. It's just so colorful. And like you said, those cards are just so well laid out. There's so much information on there, and it still looks good too. And like you said, all the bits and the helium tokens and that little fox.
The tray comes in, the Mars. Yep.
Spaceships and the twice upgraded metal cubes just are phenomenal.
The reference cards are great, super helpful.
Yeah, just
the
fantastic.
Cardboard thingies telling you what house you are.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that
Vibrant.
they use 7 Wonder size cards.
The
bigger cards. I think that was a very good choice for this game, because it makes them a lot easier to shuffle too, and they're actually bigger. It's not like they're small. So, and since there is text on a lot of them, it does make that easier to read rather than having kind of smaller, plain card-sized cards or something. Gives it that room to have all that information on there, but really well laid out.
That room. You're right.
Preference. We'll go with you, Maggie.
I give it a preference
6.
of 10. So no shocker here. This is one of my favorite games of all time. So you can always probably get me to come to the table by offering me Red Rising. I feel like I love it almost too much to where, like, if people offer it, I have to say no every now and again, just because I don't want to wear them out of playing it. Like, but that's fine, because I'll even go play this solo. Like, this is the only game that I've ever played solo, and like, we'll go play solo if I want to play it by myself.
You
like,
even went to Tabletopia.
I did.
To play it solo.
I did. Well, yeah.
Crazy.
It was, let's just say that was rough. And I've done it twice on Tabletopia. But yeah, I love this game. And I just really enjoy the puzzle of it. For my brain, it just works. So it's infuriating and angry, and I can get mad sometimes, but I love it, and I'll still play it right after that. Angry.
I am nearly as high with a 9.5 again here.
I did not know you liked it this much.
I think just playing it again lately.
Yeah.
And every time I see the box, I'm just like, I want to play it again.
And every time he wins, he's like, yeah!
Every time I get 13 cards, I still lose. Just so satisfying. All the card play, all the actions, all the scoring conditions.
Yeah.
Just so good. So good.
And I'm coming in at an 8, so quite a bit lower than you guys.
Quite a bit.
That's
actually still pretty high, considering that I thought it would come in lower because you were tired of playing it.
No, I think I even wanted it to be higher, but yeah, there are just a couple things in the game that I just think with more and more plays, those things just kind of the track part. It's weird because in like Terraforming Mars, I like where those three things kind of trigger the end game.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that this would feel like that, but the more I play it, the like less it feels fun like that. But it's the rest of it, like managing that hand of cards, is probably one of my favorite things in any game. So I don't know what you could do to change that, because I think I've seen Fantasy Realms played, and that almost seems too short because it kind of it doesn't have that piece to it.
Oh.
It is more, I think, of just the hand, and kind of a little less than that even. And that was just almost too little and too little control. This one, at least with that, you have a little more control over the game. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm going to be one to be asking, not just because I know you like it a lot, but because I want to play it as well.
It's a good husband.
So then we get to It Factor.
I have a 6 for It Factor, so a little lower.
Wow.
Come in with these.
9996.
That's fair. 6.
It's,
All right.
I mean, it is still just kind of card play for a game. I do really like that kind of place down pickup mechanism. That's kind of similar to Raiders of the North Sea, Raiders of Scythia. Kind of play down a card, pick up a card, but still, it just does feel like a card game still. Very card-based game, and doesn't really have something where if I saw this sitting on the table, obviously I'd think it was beautiful, but just watching people play it, I wouldn't be like, wow, this is like something very different from everything I've ever seen. It's pretty, I don't know, nothing too wow, but still very solid. It's a 6. That's pretty good for It Factor.
Barely above a 5.
That's fair.
All right. Well, I gave it a 10. Because for me, I think I understand what you're saying, Jesse, but in our collection, I don't think we have a game where it's like, these are your cards, and like, you're trying to keep them, or choosing which ones you let go, which ones stay, and kind of using that piece where, in like Dominion, you're drawing a hand of cards, but you're playing them all, and they, so I guess that's more deck management, but
Arboretum.
I don't like that one.
Not Arboretum, huh?
Not Arboretum. That's way different, and I don't know how to explain why at this moment. But I don't know. For me, it's just like I really enjoy that the cards that you choose, because I think what I try to do in a lot of my games is using the cards trying to go up 2 of those tracks. And you need to balance, what can you give to others? What do you need? What can you pick up? What's worth it? Kind of those pieces. And so, I don't know, the puzzle of that, like trying to figure out, and then also at the same time trying not to fall behind on the track that you aren't going for, because they are also points at the end. It's like just the balancing of all that, I think, is just what keeps it like super interesting and like makes it so much different than any other game I've played, in my opinion. So
yeah, I guess how much does like having the book, having read that, does that add to It Factor? Or
I guess a little bit, because it is really fun to see the cards come to life. And also, like, there's a card called, like, Pax Altalmanis, and I don't know how to say his name, but, like, he, like, shouts his name in the book over and over, and he's, like, this huge character, and, like, so when he comes out, like, I want to, like, if he comes out, I want to just shout, like, Pax! And so, like, there's little quirky things I think that I know now, and that makes it a little bit more fun for me before, because they were just characters that I didn't associate really with, other than what they had on their card. But yeah, probably a little bit now.
Yeah, I'm going with an It Factor of a 9, mainly because of the book, reading the book and a half.
Yeah,
so
you're
far
getting there.
I'm getting through it. The only board game to actually make me read a book, so
The only thing to make him read a book.
The characters, like you said, coming to life, I think that gives it even more of an It Factor, considering I already liked kind of what the game had to offer, and they're probably some of my favorite cards in any game. I just really like how they're laid out and how they look. So, yeah, 9 for me.
Good. Good.
which gives me a total overall of an 8.4. So it's one of my top tier games,
Nice.
I would say.
Mine's a 9.9.
That is a little higher. I have a 9.22. It ended up being. So yeah, still very consistently high scores. Someone doesn't quite love it as much as the other two, but
Well, I mean, it makes sense that the person who has the highest score in the game would rate it the highest too. So.
Wow, humble brag.
Like the only thing I own in this world when it comes to games. So just let me have it.
But yeah, so that those are our Chippy review thoughts on Red Rising, second edition, second thought of this
It'll be
video.
interesting to see where I was when we first rated it.
I would guess it wasn't quite that high, but
Yeah, I
have to go
remember
back and look.
liking it, but I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we see you on our other Stone Timber videos. So yeah, check those out. Otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.